Good morning.
Good morning, Queen. Happy Tips and Tea Tuesday.
Happy Tips and Tea Tuesday. It's another Tips and Tea Tuesday. We made it on. God bless it.
Yes, we did. He blessed us with another day. Thank you, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Well, just let me see here. Want to make sure I'm live on both pages here.
Okay.
Can you see on your page?
Yeah.
That works. That works.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. We're streaming live for your financial tips this morning based
Yeah.
on how we've been living.
Okay.
Our experiences rocking and rolling for the last over 20 years. Over 20 years. So we just bringing you some gems of what we've learned, what we continue to learn, and we like to share the information because we don't gatekeep over here.
No, ma'am, we do not.
All right. And okay. Can you hear me okay, Satitra?
Yes, I can hear you. Can
All
you hear
right.
me?
Yes. You are live and in living color.
Okay, okay. Let's get it. Let's get it.
All right. I think we give it one more minute and we can get started. Give
Sure,
some
no
people some
problem.
time to get logged on. It'll be a delay.
Yes, it is a little bit of a delay.
Hmm. Good morning, Destiny. Good morning, Aziz.
Good morning. Good morning.
I wonder if he feels weird when I call him
Okay.
by his government name.
Well, you got to keep it professional.
He'd be like, "Who is Babe?" Oh, she's talking about Aziz. That's him. That's him. It'd be a habit. We'd be on the train and calls. He'd be like, "Babe, what did you set this up?" Like, I'm
How
Babe
you?
today on the train to call.
Nothing wrong with it.
But I don't mind it at all. At all. All right. Well, I say we get started. They late. They late. They missing some gems. They can come back for the rewatch.
I know that's right. The rewatch. Yes. All right, all right. Well, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, beautiful people. I am Satitra Booker. I'm a senior consultant with the wonderful and amazing company Nove, the Credit and Money Company. And I'm welcoming you to another episode of Tuesday Morning Tips and Tea. And I'm here with my wonderful and amazing business partner and powerhouse, the regional consultant, Miss Chantella Shabazz. Good morning, Queen. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. What rich risings? I ain't did that in a while.
Yes, Rich Risings,
A
Grand Rising.
rich risings. No, I'm just excited to be here and just get today's conversation started because it's going to be powerful. We got a king coming on today, so I'm just
Okay.
super excited.
Yes, 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 yes. Chantella, you want to give a quick recap, about last week's episode, just in case any of our viewers missed last week's episode?
No, they got to go back and watch it. I'm sorry y'all missed it. You just got to go back. Ain't nobody got time for that. No, I'm saying,
She said no. No recaps this morning, guys. Last.
no, you get nothing. No. I'm gonna stop being cranky. It's been some very long traveling weeks in here, and I didn't get enough sleep. But we up here, so I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be nice. I slapped my own hand this morning. But last week, if you didn't get a chance to check out our live, we actually talked about part 3 of our Save It Like You Mean It challenge. First part, we did like a debt detox. Part 2, it was focusing on how to save and some strategies that you can do. And so part 3 was all about saving with a purpose and making sure you were growing your bag. And so we also just wanted to do and talk about, our queen, Nikki Taylor. Her passing happened a few weeks back, and her funeral was this past weekend. And I wasn't able to attend, but I just love seeing her family and her loved ones come together. Our heavy hitter team Queens in Prayer was in the building, and just seeing all the love and support. I felt like I was there, and I just love that we were all able to just see how much that she was loved by what
Yeah.
was shared this past weekend. So again, just sending our love and support to Nikki's family, and just knowing that she's always, always, always in our hearts and always
Yeah.
on in our thoughts as well. So love you, Nikki Taylor.
Love you, Nikki Taylor. Yes, Queen. And she's here with us today.
You already know she is, because
Look,
she got the eyebrow. What we say, she got her eyebrow up.
yes, looking at you like, what are you doing? Shout out to
Absolutely.
Queen Gina Smith for, getting this shirt to me. I ordered it and it got here yesterday. I ordered it Thursday. We got the little QIP logo, Queens in Prayer over here. So shout out to the Queens in Prayer, Gina Smith. Let's go.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Gina. And I'm back in Chicago now, so you can go ahead and ship mine. I'm here. I'm here. So
She said, I'm here. Backstage side. Let's go.
absolutely. But we also talked about last week, just emergency savings, how to create multiple saving buckets, naming your goals. So if you are trying to take that trip to Paris 2026, name it. If you are saving up to buy another car, name it. So that was some of the things we talked about. And we also talked about purple, I can't say the word this morning, purposeful saving. Right? Did y'all see that? Did you see
It's
that? I thought I was going to start doing my Busta Rhymes rap this morning, but we got it.
You got it, Queen. You
We
got it.
got
You
it.
did it. You did
Every
it.
dollar is a seed for your future. Okay. So we
Yeah.
just want to make sure that we make that very clear, put a purpose behind your saving. So knowing that seed that you're planting today is really going to grow into something for your future. So keep that in your mindset. We talked about high yield savings accounts and how that can be very beneficial for you. If you haven't come and seen one of the queens about a high yield savings, what are you doing? What are you doing? The time is now. Don't keep waiting. Set up the account. And we also gave some gems to our business owners, making sure that they separate the personal from the business, how to automate their savings. And then we also talked about mindset last week and just getting your mind around it. And just a reminder, our no spend weekend is coming up this weekend. So we had a challenge to do a no spend weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's Mother's Day weekend, so you mothers got off easy. Them kids, make them drop the money this weekend. You don't
Yes.
come out of pocket.
Look, where are we going to eat, honey? Babies, sons, where are we going?
Yes, yes.
Oh, goodness.
So yeah, if you didn't get a chance to watch, there's definitely a lot of tips and gems that were dropped last week. So you can check it out on either my page, the teacher's page. I'll go ahead and upload it to our Heavy Impact page. So if you're a member of our Heavy Impact group page, you also can catch some of our past lives on there as well.
Yes. Well, this
Mhm.
morning, we definitely have a powerful, powerful episode for you. I'm super excited.
Super, super excited.
Yes.
Who we having come on today? It's a teacher.
Do we really want to let the cat out the bag right now? Are you
Are they
ready?
ready?
Are they
Are they
ready?
ready?
I
Right.
don't
Like
know.
surprise, 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 surprise.
None other than whoop whoop. Perfect timing. Mr. Big Fresh Credit King, Bossy Mitchell.
I'll see. Are you there?
Are you there, King Bossy? Are you there? Turn your camera on, sir.
I am here. I am here. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, 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 we definitely can. We can hear you loud and clear.
Let's go. Let's
Yes,
go.
sir.
Man, drop some fire, drop some hearts, drop some trophies, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to the tips and tea, man. First and foremost, I got to give it back to you, phenomenal women, man. Phenomenal women. Amazing leaders. I mean, I admire y'all consistency. I admire the way y'all set this thing up and kept it going. Understanding that y'all about to reach our 1 year anniversary. Somebody drop some clap in the hand emojis in the chat there for these phenomenal women. As y'all know, I'm just honored to be here. I got to give it back to y'all and say thank you, ladies. I am honored.
Well, no problem. No problem. We are definitely honored to welcome you, Bossy, Mr. Big Fish Credit King. You have definitely been a trailblazer in the fintech industry and a beloved leader in Charleston's West Side community, from studying power plant technology to building a nationwide financial empire. Your
Let's
journey
go.
has been nothing but inspiring. You are the first double platinum sales director out of the wonderful state of West Virginia, and, the first Black individual to ever hold that prestigious title. You have helped countless people understand credit, business building, and, transforming their financial futures. So we are just definitely honored to have you. So all of our listeners, make sure you get a piece of paper and a pen, because he is definitely going to drop some gems. So Mr. Mitchell, tell us your why. Why did you start this wonderful, amazing fintech business?
Oh man, that's truly an amazing question, and over time we understand that our why expand with our experience, right? But to take it back to the basics, to be completely transparent, whenever I got married and my wife got pregnant with our youngest child, I wanted to change the dynamics, understanding that the mindset of a household versus an apartment when the kid is growing up can be slightly different, right? And one of the goals that my wife and I actually had was become homeowners. So once I became a homeowner, one of the biggest benefits for me was actually learning how to build my own credit report, right? Understanding how to read a credit profile, understanding trade lines, understanding credit utilization and the 5 factors. Well, these are things that I went and studied on my own. And to be completely transparent, I built my credit score all the way to an 800 credit score with no assistance. So whenever we became a homeowner, to be completely transparent, I want to give it back to God, because God put me on this pathway, right? And he said to me, well, it's your duty to go out and teach underserved communities exactly what it was that you've done to become a homeowner. Understanding the mentality, if that's your why, then that's your destined call. And that's all I want to do, is just go out here, help individuals understand credit and leverage credit to become homeowners. I got to give it back to y'all. One of the hosts that y'all actually had said, in the rent race, missions when it comes to Charleston, West Virginia, as well as, all underserved communities. Yes, ma'am. Great question.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you, Bossy, for just letting us know what inspired you to get started, and knowing that God is in your life and that He put the calling on you and you answer the call, because a lot of people don't answer the call. So we just want to commend you again for stepping up and walking with a purpose, and not only that, but bringing so many people with you. So you're truly amazing. You're truly amazing.
Yes, truly amazing.
Yes, yes. And then we just want to since we have Bossy on, you guys, just speaking out to our audience, don't forget to drop any questions that you might have for Bossy. He'll be here to answer some questions for you. He's going to give, a lot of gems today, just talking about financial education, what it means to be a leader in this industry out here in these American streets. Yes.
American streets, yes.
American streets, it is not easy. It's definitely not easy. So just go ahead and start dropping your questions, or getting ready to drop your questions, and we're gonna drive right in, because we know Bossy got things to do.
Yes.
So we can't keep them too long. We can't keep them too long. So
let's go.
Right. Entrepreneurs got things to do, places to go, people to see. So you just want to dive on into our questions until we get some questions from the audience?
Absolutely. Yeah. So you can kick us off with some questions for Bossy.
All right. So Mr. Mitchell, how can mastering basic money principles change a family's future over time?
Well, that's a great question, to be honest with you. I think a lot of times when it comes to underserved communities, then we have to understand what are the principles, right? As far as like budgeting, first and foremost, we were taught certain fundamentals, but it was never emphasized, right? Savings, right? That's another thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, you saying something?
Oh, no, I was just saying, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think there's a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, got you. Okay. So I apologize about that. But yeah, a lot of times we have to understand the fundamentals when it comes to the principles of money, per se, budgeting and saving, and a few of the things we were really taught in school but never emphasized on how it can impact our future. Debt to income ratio is another thing that people can understand how to capitalize. And when I say that is because when it comes to the principles of money, it's way bigger than just saving your money. It's way bigger than, just getting a check and getting income. It's more or less about being financially free. What are you going to do with the money when you, right? What are you going to do with the money when you lower your debt to income ratio? And that's where we come into the true principles, which is called leverage. See, that's something else that we wasn't taught in underserved communities. We're just talking about credit, but they never really truly taught us the 5 factors of credit and how the system truly works. So when we get to even talking about the principles and leveraging, we still got basics and have the discussion of the 5 factors of credit.
Right.
Absolutely. And, we know that financial literacy is definitely critical to our community. How would one get started with just educating themselves with the financial literacy that they need in order to make sure they're on the right track? What would you suggest for someone? Where would they start, basically? Where would they start with making sure that they're on track?
Well, to be completely honest with you, as an adult, I would say it starts with a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because over time, we see a lot of people stop. Right? A lot of times,
it's very true.
When we make this decision, we just have to keep going. If we want true, it's so much power in belief and keep all the fundamentals. I can see everything to do, but at the end of the day, until you make the decision that I'm going to go out here and become free, you can have all the financial literacy. Until you make the decision.
Okay, I think we're having some technical difficulties.
Bossy's in, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. He's freezing up a little bit. Bossy, if you can hear us, you're frozen.
Maybe log out and come back in.
Yeah. Okay.
I can hear. Can you hear?
We can hear you now, but we couldn't for a second. It was like you were frozen. Yeah, he froze again.
Okay, am I frozen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, give me a second.
I say it was just getting good.
Right, I know he was getting all into it too. I'm like, wait a minute, damn, where'd he go?
I was like, wait, that's a bar right there. You got to start. He said you have to start. The first step is starting. So definitely don't want to miss anything that Bossy's bringing today. So just keep in tune with us, everybody. Let's see. I believe he is back.
There you go.
Hey, there we go.
There we go. Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, we back.
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Man, God is good. The devil is a lie. I was burning the house down. You hear me?
I know you was. You was so passionate. You was talking with your hands and everything. We knew you was dropping something. We needed them to hear.
Yeah, I was like, he said, you need to start. I was like, okay, bring it up. I'm scooting up in my chair. I'm trying to get closer so I can hear better.
Yeah.
Look, I got mine.
But just to reiterate, what I was saying, as an adult, we just got to make the decision to get started, and continue to
Yeah.
go and continue to keep thriving and stop quitting. A lot of times we want to be financially free, but we'll stop, and we can get all the financial literacy tools that we have. But at the end of the day, we have to truly make the decision to keep going, because that's where the power and the faith is. When you're looking for results, it's in keep going and never quit.
Yes,
Love
sir.
that. Y'all drop some fire in the chat for Bossy Mitchell because he's over here lighting it up. He was going so hard that the restream couldn't even keep up with him. It's like y'all ain't ready. Let's pause because they not listening. So it paused you on purpose, Bossy, because they was like, nope, they ain't listening. Give them a second to get their lives together so they can hear him better. Okay. So
Right?
thank you, King, for working with us and working through it with us.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, drop some fire in the chat for Bossy Mitchell for bringing these gems early this morning on a Tuesday morning. Yeah,
Yes.
Charlene says you so
Tuesday.
cold over there, you freezing on camera. I know
I
that's.
know that's right.
Let's
Yes,
go. Let's
yes.
go.
Let's go.
Let's see. Another question for you, Bossy. Can you share a time when having good credit or bad credit directly affected your real life? Like, like when, getting a car or a home, something like that.
Oh man, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We all been here, right?
One of the biggest things that I like to share with individuals was I get the power of credit and leveraging your credit and having a credit score. When you go through underwriting, that interest rate makes a major difference on our life. And I realized that when I became a homeowner, and I realized that after I started to purchase vehicles with good credit versus when I was purchasing vehicles with bad credit, right? So I started to notice different things, how having good credit and leveraging good credit can truly be a life changer in your financial situation when it comes to your spending, right? And because we were never taught financial literacy and taught about credit, I don't personally like to say individuals have bad credit. I would like to say that they have less than perfect credit, because we cannot penalize ourselves for some knowledge we do not know.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Very true. Yes. Now, I mean, we didn't learn it back then, but we have no excuse now because the
Right.
information is out there. The information is available. Bossy is here. He is a leader amongst our company, amongst our team. And if you want to get educated and you want to learn more about financial education and how to take that information and start, like Bossy said, get started, definitely come out and reach out to Bossy Mitchell, myself, or Teacher Booker, and we'll help you along the way. So I thank you, King, for that. And we really appreciate you coming on and just, again, letting people know there's no reason for you not to start, right? We can't keep making excuses. We have to keep going. So with that and understanding that, absolutely. So again, I just want to ask you, what's one major myth, okay, about credit or money that you want to clear up? Because understanding that generational wealth is everywhere right now, it's a buzzword. Generational wealth, legacy building, generational wealth. What's one myth about it that's out there that you want to clear up about credit and money?
Man, there's a few things. That's a great question as well.
You can go over all of them if you want to.
Man, one of the biggest myths that we personally believe is that cash holds value. Cash does not hold any value. And to be completely transparent, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, like I always say, right? But money is fictitious. So if someone on this call and ain't listening, you may want to write that word down and understand what that word is and look it up. See, our economy is really ran off of digital currency, right? So cash really don't hold no value. And when you understand the way the banking system works, which is the highest form of, our money within our economy, then you will understand the different levels of, life when it comes to credit. And I would definitely say money that's cash, the best thing that you will probably want to do is put it into a high yield savings account, right? But other than that, cash does not have any value. It's actually fictitious. Credit is where the power is within our economy. When it comes to generational wealth, a lot of times for myself, I tell myself, as a firm believer of God, that he never gave me the power to break a curse. So I don't like to say I'm trying to break generational curses. What I will like to say is I'm trying to build generational wealth, right? And understanding when it comes to building generational wealth is really more so your legacy. And in underserved communities, we have the wrong perception or mentality when it comes to our legacy. And I encourage everybody to watching this, actually write it down. Your legacy is solely based upon the assets that you leave behind. Why is your legacy so important to an individual like me? Well, because where we come from, you may have one or two generations, right? The granny may have met the grandchild. But how long does the granny meet the great grandchild where we come from, right? So a lot of times is bigger than the headstone to me, right? I can't tell you what these graveyards is going to look like 150, 200 years from now, right? So one of the biggest things for me, if you want to leave your name behind in generations to come, create a legacy, create generational wealth, something that you can truly pass down besides cash.
Right.
Man,
It's
drop some gems.
Powerful.
Drop some gems in the chat, please.
Yes. Look, I'm gonna drop some gems in the chat. Because he is dropping them gems. Yes.
I gotta
Yes,
give it back to
he
y'all.
is.
Thank you, lady.
Yes, cash is fictitious. Fictitious. Look, write that down. If you didn't write it down, cash
Yes,
is
ma'am.
fictitious. If you look at
Yeah.
money, it literally is a promise to pay. It's not real. It's just a promise to pay. So if you still got the money under your mattress, that's not benefiting you.
No,
If
it's
you
not.
are holding on to every last penny and not making your money work for you, we have to continue to remember, right? Money is a tool. Money is a tool to be used to help you grow financially, to help support your family, to build a future. If you're holding on to it, you can't do anything with that. You're still going to be stuck in the same place. You might end up being worse off because you're holding on to it and not putting it to work like it's supposed to be doing. It's a tool to help grow your family,
That's
help
correct.
grow your future. So thank you, Bossy. Because them gems is, you see the chat, the gems is lighting up this morning. Thank you, Charlene, Destiny, Aaron. Kevin Scott said this is good stuff. So thank you, King, for continuing to drop these gems.
Yeah.
So teacher, do you have another question for our fearless leader over here?
Of course, of course. Let's see here. So, Bossy, you're a community leader. Can you tell me about one time where sharing financial education changed someone's life? I mean, and I will say this, the information that you have shared with me has changed my life.
Same here.
Yeah. I mean, truly, truly.
Hey, I gotta give it back to y'all, right? Thank y'all for that, to be completely transparent. One thing about me, every conversation really to just educate and inspire. So I truly believe that everybody I come across and have this conversation with, that I'm creating a change and I'm educating them and helping them to succeed. So outside of that, one of the biggest things when it comes to my why is understanding. When I was growing up, where I come from in my community, nobody ever walked up on me and was like, "Hey, Bossy, what's your credit score?" You know? So now that I have the knowledge that I have, it's my duty and my due diligence to go out here and share it. Like Mrs. Chantella said, we're not gatekeepers. And that's something I love about our community, right? So it's not necessarily one time. I want to say anytime I have a conversation with someone in all 50 states, I want to make sure that I'm dropping some value and some gems that can help somebody grow, right? And instead of, being a gatekeeper and not really sharing the information, because it would kind of contradict my why. Right. So, like my mentor always says, shout out to Aziz, that you don't want to call the kettle black, right? So I'm just truly inspired, and I love what we do here. But personally, as far as stories and testimonies, I've helped a lot of individuals in my community become a homeowner. Despite I'm not a realtor, despite I'm not a loan officer, I do have a network and resources that I do utilize for those individuals. My main thing is to make sure that they can be in a position to get pre-qualified. So I've even helped a few family members become homeowners, so it's not really about the stories or the testimonies or the accolades. For me, is keep going. God put me on a reason, not for a season, and I'm just doing my due diligence.
Amen.
Amen to that.
He is here to serve, ladies and gentlemen. Here to serve.
Yes. Just a reminder to our audience, if you have any questions for Bossy, go ahead and drop those in the chats. I do have another question for you, King. I know we talked a lot about mindset. Absolutely. And where, we talked about just getting started, right? But what role does mindset and self-belief play in just helping people achieve their financial success?
Wow. Well, this can get deep, and this can go multiple ways, right?
Mm-hmm. Is they ready? Do y'all wait? Give him a second, Bossy. Did you get your pad and your pen ready? Because he about to bring it. Y'all ready? All right, let's go.
Get ready. Uh-oh, did he freeze again?
Let's go, right? First and foremost, I want to say that. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I would want to say,
yep.
First,
him again. There it goes.
Your mindset. Okay, let's go. So first, I want to say your mindset and your belief definitely goes hand in hand. I would say that your belief goes first. Okay. Why is this important? Well, when it comes to belief, first we have to believe in ourselves. Regardless of what we do in life, whatever goals we have in line, whatever vision we have to first believe before we believe that we can do it. See, a lot of individuals will be getting discouraged over time because their belief is caught up in the process, right? Their belief is too caught up in the elevation and, the hiccups and things of that nature. I think at the end of the day, first off, the belief starts with believing in yourself. Whatever you set out to do, believe that you can accomplish it. Once you have a strong belief system, then we can work on your mindset, right? Then we can work on self-elevation, self-growth, right? One thing I love about our culture is even spiritually, right? But for me, the foundation is belief. And we have to believe in ourselves. And in order to believe in ourselves, watch this. We got to pray.
No.
See, a lot of times we get caught up in believing what life is about without understanding we're not counting the blessings of the life that we have for the day, right? So I try to be mindful every morning when I wake up to pray for the day and be grateful and be honored for the life that he gives me, because within the day comes opportunity, and then I can believe anything is possible. Now, when it comes to my mindset, so y'all with me? It's a whole process before we even get to the mindset. The mindset is the train. They need to come to HIU.
HIU.
Yeah, they do. I was gonna invite them tonight.
Hey, for those of you that don't know, HIU, that is Heavy Impact University, and Bossy hosts those calls every Tuesday and has been doing it faithfully for the last, 3 years, Bossy?
Every Tuesday for the last 3 years.
Yes. So we get you started in the morning, but Bossy closes out the night with gems. I be dreaming about it in my sleep. I be hearing Bossy say, "Let's go, kings and queens," in my sleep.
Let's go,
He
man.
be so pumped.
Hey,
So pumped.
drop some hearts, drop some trophies in the comment section for the heavy hitters and gentlemen, because we on a mission to inspire, educate, provide these opportunities to underserved communities all across the United States and Mexico and Puerto Rico, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter where you are located, you serve.
Absolutely.
Not just a movement. We are the movement. Ooh-wee.
Hey.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
And I love that Bossy. If you guys don't know, Bossy has helped so many of us on our team with just getting through the process and trusting. Because, like you said, it starts with self belief, which in tune equals trusting yourself. And a lot of people don't trust the decisions that they're making. That's what's holding them hostage. So, teacher and I literally just talked about this last night.
Yeah.
That it starts with, giving it to God and trusting yourself. Trusting yourself that you're going to let God lead you. And if you can't start there, then again, that's something that you need to pray on and help and ask God to help you get past that so that you can start to do the self-belief again, so that you can get your mindset right, so that you can start to work on the next steps of being consistent, of being patient, and being able to receive growth and abundance in your life. Because when you start with those foundational tools, it's going to lead you to all the things that you've been waiting for and that you've been praying for. So thank you, Bossy, again, for just bringing that to the forefront and letting people know that it starts with self-belief. It starts with trusting yourself. It starts again with God and praying and asking for what you need in order, the tools, the foundation to get to where you need to go. So, man, if y'all not listening, I think you need to clear out your ears this morning. Go get some Q-tips and just get in there real good so that you can hear Bossy better. They said don't go too deep, but I think you need to get in there because I don't know if they deserve more gems because I don't know. They ain't live enough in the chat for me.
I know.
I'm just saying. We do have a question. We do have a question from Sherry Landrum. She says, for someone who doesn't have credit, what is the best way to build credit from scratch, Bossy?
Hey, that's a great question, Mrs. Sherry. Shout out to you, another phenomenal individual. For those that may not know, okay, a lot of times in this system, we utilize a thing called trade line. You can write this down. Most individuals may have heard of one of the biggest trade lines in our country called Self. Okay. Well, Self originally was called Self Lender about a decade ago. Now, and if you had Self, I encourage you, do not close Self. This is why. A lot of times when we get information, we're not being taught the benefits. Well, when you get to talking about building, well, Self is a trade line. And what credit check approval for about $9, $10 to get started. And what you're going to be in a position to do is deposit $25 into a savings account every month for 24 months. Okay. Once you started putting your money into this savings account for 24 months, well, they're going to report to all three credit bureaus as if they approved you for an unsecured loan. We understand a lot of times if you have a zero credit score, you never had credit, walking in the bank to try to get a loan is probably slimmer than none, correct? So what happens when it comes to Self is they're going to report to the credit bureaus as if they approved you for unsecured loan. And every month for 24 months, you're going to pay $25 into a, but it's looking and reflecting to the credit bureaus as if you're paying $25 off on this loan as the requirement. Now, understanding that one of the 5 factors is your payment history. Not having no credit and you paying a month into the savings account that's reporting to all 3 credit bureaus, after 1 or 2 start establishing a thing called credit history. But you know one thing about the best part of the credit history is going to reflect as on time payment. See, a lot of times in our industry, we always think collections is the worst. No, the late payment will hurt your credit report and damage it, right? So I'm gonna get somebody else another gem if you want this call. Another way that you can offset them late payments while we have you in our AI credit repair software disputing all those late payments, we can get you into these trade lines to start establishing on time payments to start building your credit score back up. That's another system as well. And we have a whole list of trade lines off the back of our head that we utilize for our clients. And somebody on this call may not even know one of the biggest ways that you can build your credit with one of these trade lines is by reporting your rental history. Okay, a lot of individuals may be 18 years and older, and you may be paying rent. Okay, we partner with an amazing company, unlike most companies that's going to report to 1 bureau, 2 bureaus, or may only report the last 12 months. See, here we have a system. Our clients can report their rental history up to the last 2 years. Okay, and one of the biggest benefits is going to report to all 3 credit bureaus. So that also gives you 2 years worth of on-time payment history. And I want to elaborate to somebody else on this call. If you listening, see, they don't give us the sauce, okay? A late payment, right? That's not how they look at it when you reporting your rental history. It's either an eviction or it's not, okay? There is no such thing as reporting it and it's a late payment and things of that nature when you go to report your rental history. No. So you in a position, if you've been reporting rent for 18 months, reach out to Mrs. Chantel, Mrs. Booker, or myself, and we will teach you to report your rental history. That's another easy way to boost your credit as well.
I love that. Thank you, Bossy.
Yes, dropping gems. Dropping
gems. And shout out to Sherry for that question. Thank you so much, Queen, for bringing that to the live. We also have one more question. Sherry says, is it better to settle a debt or pay it in full later? Is it better to settle a debt or pay it in full later?
Okay, I believe I got the question was, is it better to pay a debt or pay it in full later?
Is it better to settle a debt or pay it in full later?
Settle a debt.
Yeah, so I guess
okay. Great question again, Mrs. Sherry. See, Mrs. Sherry got me deep sea diving right now. Great question, right? Well, the way this works, when you don't make your payment to your credit cards and they close your credit cards, it goes into a thing called collections. Well, at the end of the year, Mrs. Sherry, that company actually utilized that debt for what we call a tax write-off. Okay? Now, just like any other business owner, we have tax advantages. Well, that's one of the tax advantages that the company get for individuals not paying that bill, right? So the corporation at the end of the year utilize your debt for a tax write-off. Once that debt is reported into collections, at that point, it no longer originally have a document seal. The original document seal to that debt is null and void, right? So I'm not going to get into the way debt collection companies and things of that nature works, but I will say this: the original individual that has the debt utilize it as a tax write-off and it goes into collections. You're quote unquote held responsible for a debt that the original company already received the tax credits for. So technically you do not owe this money. Okay, let me make that clear first, Mrs. Sherry. Now, when they report it to your credit bureau, when they report it to the credit bureaus and it pops up on your credit report, you lose points initially for that report.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I want to make this clear. If you pay that balance, you do not automatically get that removed off your credit report. That's one thing people don't know.
Mhm.
So it can still sit on your credit report with a zero balance and negatively impact your scores.
Right.
So we don't always say pay it off, period. Now, what I will say is an individual that's been specializing in credit restoration for a course of 5-6 years in this industry, I strongly encourage everybody to go through a dispute process, which is legal here, right? Most individuals don't know, according to the 1974 Fair Credit Reporting Act, you should never dispute online. So if you're disputing through systems like Credit Karma, that's not even really a credit app. It's a referral source. You may want to go on Google and do your research after this call, okay? Never dispute online. So one of the biggest differences that we utilize here is a thing called AI credit repair software, where our clients can legally dispute any and every negative item on your credit report. So I don't strongly encourage anybody to pay anybody any money without reaching out to Mrs. Chantel, Ms. Booker, or myself first.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bossy.
Yes.
Don't pay it off if you if they sold it. He said it. He said, don't pay it off if they sold it.
Yeah.
They already wrote it off. So now
It's
you're double paying.
Yes, it's already been taken care of.
I hope y'all don't send me to Facebook jail. Now, y'all some phenomenal women and teen. Y'all got me. It's going down. I hope.
No
Where you
jail.
get
You
your
don't go to
Facebook
jail. If you do, we gonna come in with the hammers. We gonna
Okay.
break you out, boss. So we ain't gonna leave you in jail by yourself.
No, sir. No, sir.
I love it.
Let's
Thank
see
you.
here. I
Thank
do
you,
have-
ladies. Thank you.
Yeah.
We
Yes,
got
yes.
you,
Y'all
Big
drop some
Fish. We got
trophies
your
in the chat
back.
for Bossy. Go ahead, me.
I have one more question for you, Bossy.
Absolutely.
And this was something that really kind of blew my mind when I found out about it. I remember I heard about it a couple of years ago. A friend of mine was hired to be a supervisor, and she had to go through different, checks and things. And one of the things that they checked was her credit. And that blew my mind. So a lot of people don't realize how credit impacts just day-to-day things like, renting apartments, insurance, getting a job offers, different things like that. So can you, elaborate a little bit on that or break that down for us? What is it called? The hiring index? How your credit affects your job?
Hey. I would be honored. I would be honored. So a lot of times in this industry, individuals don't really provide the true value when it comes to leveraging your credit. So leveraging your credit is not just the banking system. So thank you, Mrs. Booker, for stating that as well, right? Leveraging your credit is not just pulling your credit to go get an apartment, right? That's the fundamentals. Well, what individuals in underserved communities don't know is even when we go into little small community technical colleges, or we trying to go into nursing, or we may want to go into the military official or government official employee, or hospitals or first responders, things of that nature. Well, what happens is they pull our credit. Okay. Now it's not a hard pull. It's something that they have access to. Okay. Now, the reason they're going to pull our credit is because it's called a hiring index. Your credit score is like a background check. Your credit score is like a police report on your character. Okay. And that's something else that a lot of individuals don't understand. So you can apply for some of these good jobs and you can get denied and you would never understand why. And a lot of times we say, well, this company doing false advertisement, they did 50 interviews and hired nobody.
Yeah.
Well, one of the biggest reasons is because they're checking your hiring index in your credit score and they saying, do I want this individual to work at my establishment? This has nothing to do with you being a convicted felon. This has nothing to do with your religion. This has nothing to do with your race. You understand? This is across the board, the way our economic system is set up. So I'm glad that you brought this up, Mrs. Booker. So if you on this call and you understand why a lot of people in our community are only getting hired for restaurants, while we only getting hired at hotels, and you seeing that certain industries are becoming bigger because the truth of the matter is the space for employment is going to increase. They're not educating us the reason why we're not getting some of these corporate America jobs.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Right? So when you want to go into, oh man, great question, Mrs. Booker, right? Because it reflects who your character is, the way that they looking at it. And that's ironic because that may not be the case. You know? A lot of us was never taught about credit, but wanted to do the right thing and went to college. You know, I try to be a productive in this economy. I'm penalized behind the lack of knowledge. Come on, y'all, make it make sense to me, right? So I'm glad that you brought that up. So if you on this call, that's another reason why we stress, you know, fixing your credit, because it affects your employment. But also, did you know, if you're on this call, that your car insurance is also based upon your credit score? Come on, Ms. Booker, let's cook.
Yes, let's
See,
cook.
it's not just the fact of purchasing your vehicle with less than perfect credit. See, you also may not know that they're pulling your credit score for your car insurance premium. So one thing we like to educate here when we helping our clients build their credit, remove those negative items, reach out to your car insurance company and say, hey, do you mind taking an exam at my car insurance premium based upon my credit score? Somebody write that down. Somebody write that down. Would you mind examining my car insurance premium based upon my credit score? See, the lack of not a sauce today, because if you don't be specific when you asking questions, you won't get the answers. But that's what the heavy hitters book. Let's go.
Let's
Let's
go.
Let's go. Drop some fire in the chat, some trophies in the chat for Mr. Bossy Mitchell this morning. I'm going to check here for one more question from the audience here. Sherry asks, how do business credit scores differ from personal ones?
Oh, they are different. Definitely are different.
Definitely different. Again, how do business credit scores differ from personal ones?
Okay. So that's a great question, Mrs. Sherry, right? One of the biggest things that I would say is when it comes to credit, personal credit is cool, okay? But business credit is sexy.
Sexy.
Right? That's what they call sexy.
They're right there.
That's sexy credit. Look, so when one of the biggest things that I would definitely say is that you want to separate your credit profiles, your personal versus your business. Yes, you want to leverage your personal, but you also want to leverage your business credit. But to get to the fundamentals of the importance of doing this, right, we can discuss and train and talk about the credit scores and things of that nature, educate on why it's important to do this. Well, most individuals don't know when you have an LLC or an entity, it also includes different tax advantages, but also let's just say if something happens within your business is reliable and not your personal assets. So if you wind up and someone's trying to do anything fishy, because we know the characters of individuals, well, your personal life won't be penalized because of your vision or your dream. Does that make sense? So first, I want to stress, encourage everybody on this call to reach out to one of us to get a free LLC setup, because we are one of the only companies in the country that offer a free LLC setup. And what does that look like? No state filing fees, no registration fees, no setup fees. We exclude all the fees. The only thing our clients have to pay is the state fee, which is embedded. And then we're going to help you get a free EIN. And then we're going to assist you on getting a bank account. And then we're going to talk about some business credit, Mrs. Sherry. You hear me? So we got the shit. We're going to help the people, but you got to make a decision.
Yeah.
That part. Make the decision, people. You heard it, Big Fish.
Thank you, Big Fish. That was definitely some gems you just dropped right there. We have some comments from the audience. Charlene says hard inquiries don't count against you in business, like on the personal side. Yes, Miss Charlene, that is right. Absolutely. And you get 3 times more credit on the business side. So not only we have Big Fish on here dropping gems, we also have our audience dropping gems as well. I love our Tips and Tea audience. Y'all are amazing.
Dropping gems on them.
Yes, yes. Nita commented, throwing it back to when we were talking about insurance. She said truth, and they're definitely not explaining nothing. Yep, she works in the insurance industry. So when you were talking about having them base their insurance premiums on checking your personal credit, she's saying they're definitely not explaining that to everybody. And she works in the insurance industry. So thank you, Big Fish, for that gem that you dropped earlier about having them check your credit score to get a better premium for your insurance payments.
Yes.
That's definitely some gems there. All right, it's wrapping up now. We didn't hit the 10 o'clock hour on the Eastern side. So I'm gonna ask Big Fish one more question. Okay, so if you could go back and give your younger self one piece of money advice, what would it be?
Man, that's a great question. I think one of the biggest things when it comes to money is the lack of investing it.
Yeah.
And I know it's buffering a little bit, but I will say this.
Okay, looks like Big Fish is having some technical difficulties over there. While we're waiting for him to come back.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. So the question was, what could I tell my younger self about money?
Plus one.
Or give my younger self some advice. Investing for sure. Right? And what do I mean by investing? Well, where I came from, it was multiple in underserved communities. I'm gonna say that, right? But one of the biggest things that I like to educate people on is now with the knowledge, when we go apply for certain things like credit cards, it may have a $10,000, $15,000 balance, right? We may have 0 APR for the first 15 to 18 months. Well, what I encourage individuals to do, a lot of times people may not know that you can actually win an amount of cash off of that credit limit. And I would encourage to take that cash, invest it, you know, do it young, do it while you can, you know, because that can be a foundation for your future 5, 10 years from now, right? And one of the biggest ways, of course, I would say invested is maybe some property, right? Because when we have property and we have assets, that's a whole different lane of knowledge of what you can do with the asset, right? Whether you got equity on your home after you remodel it, you know, a lot of times people don't know apply for loans. If you asset and someone is renting out, they will approve you for a higher amount on your loan based upon that, because that's also included in your source of income.
Yes.
Where if I was younger, I would definitely tell my younger self, take that money, that first card, right? Invest it now, invest it fast.
I love that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Bossy. Thank you for bringing that to the front. For me, I would have been like, don't be fearful, just do it. You still here?
Yeah.
There's time. You can make the money back.
Yes, that is so true.
You gotta keep moving
So true.
forward. Keep moving forward. Thank you, Bossy. Thank you, Bossy. You have one. You have time for one more question from the audience, and do we got to rock and roll?
Hey, absolutely. I'll take one more. I'll take one more.
Okay, one more question from the audience. I have here. Does the business need to be under a will and trust when it comes down to your business?
That is a great question. Does your business have to be under a will and trust? Okay. So, first, what I would like to say is your business definitely should be under a trust. Okay. Now, why is this important? Well, a will can be pierced in the court of law.
Yeah.
So, let's just use as a hypothetical scenario. I have a house worth of, but I pass over. I have 5 kids. Well, there's a thing called probate. Will show up to court, and really the judge get to say so on what's going to happen. Okay, so the judge can say, "Hey, what we're going to do is sell Mr. Mitchell's home, and we're going to split the money between the 5 kids."
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's just say hypothetically, we know we don't want to give certain individuals mass majority power of all my assets or what may happen to my, my future income, because it's a legacy that I done built. So when it comes to a trust cannot be pierced by the court of law. So whatever is in those documents, they have to abide by. Okay. So I would definitely say this. It's not that your business needs to be in a trust. I would definitely say in a trust. When you understand the importance of a trust and you understand you're building something that you want to leave for generations to come, right? But it's not just your business. See, we also was never taught life insurance is also considered a net worth. So your life insurance policy also needs to go in a trust. Yeah. One thing that I love the most about this phenomenal company that we have, that if you are a business owner or if you have life insurance or even if you don't have life insurance, We can help you get life insurance. We can help you start a business, but we can also help you get that will and trust to protect your assets that you're looking for.
Yes, sir.
All right. Y'all heard it here. He said, put the business in a trust. What are you doing?
Yes, yes, yes.
Put it in the trust. If you haven't done it, we can look into it. Come over here. We have some information for you at Novay that can help you get started. Because what did Bossy say earlier? The key is to start. You need to
Yes.
start. You can't keep delaying. Can't keep delaying. Well, everybody, drop some gems in the chat for Bossy, especially if he gave you something that made you think differently about, financial literacy, about getting started, which is changing your mindset. Drop some gems in the chat for Mr. Bossy Mitchell, Big Fish Credit Cream. We definitely appreciate you, sir, for coming on and just
Yes.
taking some time out of your very busy schedule to jump on Tips and Tea this morning. So thank you, King.
Yes, we definitely appreciate you both for
Hey, I
joining us.
appreciate you, Mrs. Walker. I appreciate you, Mrs. Shantella.
Shaba.
And always for our dear beloved. For our dear beloved,
Absolutely.
man, I'm honored to be here. I'm glad that y'all reached out to me for this call. It's truly phenomenal on what we doing and how we serve, and understanding that we have to keep this thing going. And I'm truly inspired by what y'all do, and congratulations in advance on y'all 1 year anniversary. Somebody drop some hearts in the chat for that, right? For consistent, for being determined, to being servant leaders, right? If individuals will go back to y'all following Tips and Tea calls, it's a lot of value that y'all do provide, right? So I definitely want to give it back to y'all, this phenomenal company, Novay. The heavy hitters, our amazing true squad all across the country, and my phenomenal state, West Virginia. I definitely want to give it back to them, and just understand that we're humble, serving leaders, and we're thriving to serve the community. And let's go.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Yeah.
King. Thank you. And,
Thank you.
for those of you who don't know, Bossy celebrated a birthday yesterday. So can we get some happy birthdays in the chat
Yeah.
for Mr. Bossy Mitchell, Big Fish, Getty King?
Happy
Happy birthday, King.
birthday. Happy birthday, Big Fish.
Appreciate you.
Happy birthday. And we, again,
Thank
thank
you.
you for
Thank
your
you. Thank you.
energy, your wisdom. Man, Bossy, your message is just so powerful. Every time you come to a call, every time you talk to someone, you truly light up the room, the Zoom, everything, right? So we want to thank you for always making a lasting impact, not only on us, but for those around you. So we
Yeah.
definitely appreciate you, King. And if you all want to get some more gems, if you didn't get enough on Tips and Tea this morning, because I say it's definitely not enough, reach out to one of us. We'll get you an invite to our HIU training tonight with Mr. Bossy Mitchell, who leads the call
Yes.
every Tuesday night in HIU. Where he's dropping more gems, more information. He gets our team live. So if you want to learn more, if you want to just get the experience with financial education, help yourself level up, help those around you with the services through Novay, let us know. We can definitely get you an invite to HIU tonight. We ain't just gonna put it out there because it's exclusive. So if you want more Bossy Mitchell, and
Right.
we're gonna be celebrating him some more tonight, definitely let us know and we'll get you invited to HIU this evening.
Yes, yes.
All right, all right. Yes, you got some happy birthdays in the chat, Bossy.
Let's go, Big Fish. Happy
Hey,
birthday.
thank you. Thank you. I can't see the comment section, but I can only imagine. Thank you all, man. God bless you all from the bottom of my heart, right? Yes, we will be also turning up tonight. So if you want a backstage pass and to be a fly on the wall to what we do, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, I think it's time to wrap this thing up. Thank you again,
All
Bossy,
right.
for joining Tips and Tea, but we got to get you out of here because we know you got things to do.
Yes,
So
sir.
you
Yes,
got
sir.
things to do.
You
Well,
at
as
the
always,
TOP.
see you
See
at the
you at the
top, sir.
COP. Let's go.
Let's go. Well, as always, we definitely thank you guys for tuning in for another awesome and amazing episode of Tips and Tea. If you are watching live, drop a 1 in the chat. If you're watching the replay, drop a 2. And as always, we are doing the grocery giveaway for our listeners. So if you feel comfortable dropping your email in the chat, you can do so there, and we'll make sure we get that certificate to you. If you don't feel comfortable dropping your email in the chat, you can DM myself, Satitra Booker, or Chantella Shabazz. Again, just thank you. Like, follow, and share. Check out our YouTube channel, Tips and Tea, and our Heavy Impact page. And stay tuned for next Tuesday. Anything you want to add, Chantella?
Yep. And just remember, everybody, knowledge is great, but applied knowledge is everything. I'm going to say it one more time. Knowledge is great, but applied knowledge is everything. So don't let today's gems just sit around and not do anything for you. Bossy said to start. The key to anything is to start. Just get it going. So put them into action, and we'll see you all next Tuesday. Can't wait. Let's go.
Let's go. And listen, do it scared, do it afraid, but just do it. Start.
Just do it. Just start.
All right.
Let's go. Thank
Let's
you, everybody.
go.
Love. I'm going to
Love,
get better.
love.
This see is getting better every week. I tell you, let's go.
You doing it, girl. You doing it. You doing it, sis.
Bye, everybody. Many